A very warm greetings to all my lovely students. I once again welcome you to another session of your English class. Dear students, how are you all? If you are getting bored, you should do some creative things, students, like reading storybooks. Storybooks we get in different themes like horror, mystery, comedy. So you can read a book which is of your choice, isn't it? Now students, let me give you one situation, and after that you will tell me how you would act in that situation. Just think, it's night time and you are alone at home. Everything is fine, but suddenly there is a power cut and you are alone. So what will be your first reaction? Definitely most of us will feel afraid. We will have a scary feeling. And then what we will do? We will just hunt for our mobile phones. And first thing which we will do is we will switch on the flashlight. And after that we will look for a candle, or we can go to our neighbor's house for help, isn't it? So most of us, I think we will do this one. Or let me give you one more situation, like you along with your friends, you all are going on a walk, and on the way you see a half-built house. It looks a little bit haunted and some mysterious also. So what will you do? Will you try to explore it, or you will ignore and go? But as I know you all students and your nature, you all are curious in nature. So you will definitely try to explore it. Explore means to go to a new place and find out new things. So students, this is the nature of you all, that you all are at this age. You all are very curious in nature, and you will definitely try to explore that haunted house or that half-built house, isn't it? So now students, I will be telling you a story of 3 students whose names are Tom, Jack and Tara. They are also of your age only, and like you all, they are also very curious in nature. They always want to explore new things, and they are also full of adventures. They also want to do lot of adventures. So this is a story from your course book, lesson 4, and the name of the story is The Old Green Door, written by George Ansley. This is an extract, that is only a part of the story. And actually this is like a play. Play means a small act which we perform on the stage. So there are some characters here which I will be explaining you, and then I will be explaining you the story. So the main characters here are the 3 students, that is Tom, Jack and Tara, and uncle. There is an uncle to whom they are narrating their experience. So students, in this video I will be doing the summary of lesson 4. Lesson 4, The Old Green Door, written by George Ansley. And I told you that this is written in form of a play. Play means when some characters are performing it in front of us. So there is an audience to see it. And here the main characters, as I told, it is Tom, Jack, Tara. All the 3 are school students, and they are talking to Uncle Ryan. Now Uncle Ryan, who is he? Uncle Ryan is very close to these 3 students, and Uncle Ryan knows very well that these 3 students, they always want to explore new things. They always like to have new adventures. So the scene starts where Uncle Ryan is talking to Tom, Jack and Tara. And Uncle Ryan is asking Tom that, Tom, can you tell me about your latest adventure? because I know that you three are always after adventure and you all want to explore and find out new things. So Tom said that yes, today only we had an adventure, and it was such a scary adventure that they all looked at each other's face before narrating it. So Uncle Ryan said that no, I am very much interested and I want to listen to your adventure. So Tom started narrating. He said that today we thought of exploring the dusty old green door. Now Uncle Ryan became excited. He asked, "Where is this door?" So then Tom said that this dusty old green door, this is in our school itself. After crossing Mr. Joyner's room at the end of the corridor, there is a green door and it is dusty. Now students, when he is always giving a stress on this word dusty, it means that generally this door or the room is not used. So it is very dusty. So Ryan said, "Carry on, I want to listen." So Tom started giving his experience. He wanted to share his experience. So he said that from many days we were seeing this dusty old green door, and we always had the feeling to explore and find out what is behind this door. So today in the games period, that is in the playtime, we got the opportunity. There was no one who was keeping a watch on us. So we three, slowly and slowly, we left the field and came inside the school building. And then slowly we crossed the staff room and all the labs. Labs means the laboratory where different experiments are done. And students, the whole area was very quiet. And so it was already giving a scary feeling. So all the three students, that is Tom, Jack and Tara, they slowly crossed the staff room and all the labs, and they went towards the old green door. And as soon as they went near the door, they were just stunned and frightened because they saw a light, a very frightening and strange light which was coming from behind that door. So now all the three were in a position that they were not able to understand that what they should do. They should either go inside, or they should try to go inside the room, or they should back up. So students, where was the old green door? It was past Mrs. Joyner's room at the end of the corridor. Remember it, students. Now it was Tara's turn to narrate the story. And then she said that when they went near the door, a very strange and frightening light was coming from behind the door. And then what happened? They were in a mood to explore that particular room. So they went close to the door and they wanted to listen. And when they tried to listen, they heard a scratchy sound. Scratchy means like someone is there inside the room, some monster who was scratching at the door. So they heard a scratching sound and then they became very frightened. And then later they kept on listening and then the next sound which they heard the sound of someone chewing something. That means they heard the sound of some terrible teeth. And the teeth, that is, they were gnashing and nagging. So the teeth, the noise, as if someone who was behind the door, he was chewing something. And this frightened them like anything. And then after telling this, Tom began to tremble. So now it was Jack's turn to continue with the story. So still Jack said to Uncle Ryan that still we did not leave the place. We were there standing with our full courage and we wanted to see or hear something more. And then the next thing happened. And what was that next thing? Someone started hitting hard at the door. Means from inside someone was trying to break the door. And that was the time when all these three they became very frightened. So Uncle Ryan asked that listening this, I am feeling so scary. You all were not afraid. So that time these students said that yes, that was the time when we felt totally scary and afraid and we could not understand what to do. And we turned back and started running towards the playground.
Students, have a look at the picture. You can see how Tom, Jack and Tara, they are standing close to the door. They creep up close because they wanted to hear some sound, because they had already seen a strange and frightening light coming from behind the old green door. And then the first sound which they heard, it was a scratchy sound, like someone was using the nail to scratch something. So listening this only, they became so afraid that Tom, he almost started to tremble. And then the next sound which they heard, it was the sound of the terrible teeth. That means they could feel that someone inside was trying to chew and grind something. And students, do you know what? Whoever was inside, he was trying to chew and grind the terrible old green door. So just think, students, can a human being do it? So maybe some monster was there who was doing it. So the terrible teeth, they started to gnash. Now students, the meaning of gnash is to grind one's teeth together. So they started to gnash and gnaw. Now the word means to chew on something. So someone inside the room was actually chewing the old green door. And then they heard a very chilling scream, that is a frightening cry, followed by a growling roar. And the last bit of sound which frightened them the most was that someone was trying to hit hard on the door and trying to break it open.
The sound that frightened them the most was the sound of the door when someone from inside the old green door was hitting the door, trying to break it open. That was the time when these three students, they were frightened and they turned back and started running far away from the old green door. It was Tara who started to run fast and first, followed by Tom. And then suddenly they saw that Jack, he was running so quickly that he left Tara and Tom back, and all the three they ran out towards the playground. And as soon as they reached the playground, at that time Jack promised that he will never go near that area again. He will never go near that terrible old green door. And at that time only the whistle blew, that means the bell rang, their playtime, that is the games period, was over. So they were all turning back to go back to their classrooms. At that time, Mr. Lee stopped them. And particularly he stopped these three students only and said that I need your help. I have to go to store to bring something and I want you three to help me. So they were all ready to help Mr. Lee, and when they were about to go, that time only Tara remembered that what? Store? that old green door, that was only the storeroom. So, before they could answer anything, they could feel some change in Mr. Lee. And what was the change? They saw that the eyes, it turned red, full of blood, and his arms, that is hand, it bent into claw. That means he was changing. And then the three of them, they could not wait there for any long. They turned back and ran as fast as they could away from the school premises. So students, here the play ends. And now it is the readers, that means you all, who have to find out the end. That is, who was Mr. Lee? Whether he was a normal human being or a monster. Actually, Mr. Lee was changing, or it was just the imagination of the three children that they saw Mr. Lee changing. Maybe they were so much afraid and frightened that they felt that Mr. Lee was changing. Actually, he was not changing. Or maybe Mr. Lee was changing in reality. So now, the writer, that is George Ansel, left the thing in our part to decide whether Mr. Lee was a normal human being or a monster. So hope students, you all have understood the summary clearly, and now it's time for the hard words. So you have to note down these hard words 3 times in your English course copy.
Lesson 4. The old green door. The hard words. The first word, Nash. G is silent, students. We pronounce it as Nash. Second, growling. Third, terrible. Fourth, nath. Here again G is silent. So na. Nuff. Chilling. Pound. Adventures. Airy. Explore. Mysterious. Sore. Corridor. Scratchy and strange. I am repeating once again. Nash, growling, terrible, nerve, chilling, pound, adventures, airy, explore, mysterious, sore, corridor, scratchy and strange. So students, you are supposed to note down these words in your English course copy and you have to write it 3 times, students. So I hope the explanation of the lesson, that is the summary of the lesson, is clear to you. So take care, students, and goodbye.